Like that old school talk show host named Arsenio Hall used to say, things that make you go, hmm. And things that make me go, today is the fact that they're bringing back Cheat Pete to USC. What could that mean for Lincoln Riley? And hey, we might even touch on that old turd, old Colin Cowherd, who y'all like to call Cow Turd. Let's talk about it. What this is for USC and Cheat Pete. The same old situation, that same old ball and chain. Looks like old Cheat Pete may be coming back to try to save the day. Now they're saying that Cheat Pete's just coming in as a teaching position, but it sure is odd that Cheat Pete's coming back when there's a little turmoil going on with Lincoln Riley and the USC fan base, although they won't admit it. But before we get more into that, let's go ahead and give our four horsemen shout outs of the day. They go to Billy Townsend, Storm 4601, that Christian Fam channel. Great channel, by the way. If you want your take on some good religious content, that's the channel to look at. And Richard Burton are saddled up, mounted up, and ready to go. They're going to help us with today's college football invasion. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. It's the big four, and they're free. But if you want to get your badge and get deputized and get your random four horseman shout out like they just did, as well as possible be the comment of the day, which may come later in the show, all you got to do is hit that join button next to the subscribe button. Number $2.99 a month, that's just 75 cents a week. That's just a half a bottle of water for the outlaw. Also, I can be reached on Twitter, aka X, at OCF Productions. Also, we have some special contributors to the show that helped me with this article. Ryan Loads and Courtney Taylor. Appreciate the hell out of y'all. Now, getting right to it here. I'm going to bring up a little something for y'all. As you can see here, it says ex-Seahawks coach Carroll, I call him Cheat Pete, pumped for an exciting opportunity. Carroll isn't sure whether he'll return to coaching. For now, he's returning to USC. The former Seattle Seahawks and Trojans coach told Sports Radio 93.3 KJR-FM on Tuesday that he'll start teaching a class at USC in the spring, though he didn't offer any specifics beyond that. Sort of resembles what Alabama did with Nick Saban and keeping him around with a $500,000 salary as a special consultant, which we all know what that's about. Nick Saban's staying there to help out in the recruiting aspect of things because we all know that's his wheelhouse. He says, I'm looking forward to that, says Carroll. It's going to be a really exciting endeavor when it's all finalized and all that, man. Can you imagine that, man? Just come back and teach. What are you teaching, Pete? Are you teaching the art of giving a recruit? Are you trying to teach him the art of, being able to cheat? And now it's not really cheating all the way since we got NIL and all this other stuff. Although NIL does not allow you to give free houses to Reggie Bush and his family. But Cheat Pete may be able to find a way around that and help Lincoln Riley maybe save his job. Or maybe it's something more nefarious towards Lincoln Riley. Maybe they're bringing in Cheat Pete because they want a clean transition whenever they decide to part ways with the one we call Linky Boy, a.k.a. Tebow, T-B-O-W. That's the acronym, not Tim Tebow. Let's not insult a great American. But T-B-O-W, the bitch out west, that being Lincoln Riley. Goes on down here to say Carroll, though, said he will be doing some advising for some other clubs, in quotation marks. Clubs, huh? Like booster clubs, like NIL functions and that kind of deal. Yeah, probably so. He wouldn't specify, of course he's not, which ones, but did clarify they aren't football teams. Really? You think we believe that shit? Another recent project involved a trip to the American military base in Kuwait for a basketball tournament with U.S. troops, which that's a good thing. Someone does something good, I like to recognize it. That's a good thing you done there, Cheat Pete. I'm excited about it because there's much more stuff to teach. Really. Didn't know that Cheap Pete was a professor. Maybe he's majors in teaching someone how to maybe not put your foot in your mouth and say that you can't recruit to Oklahoma and other blue bloods. Maybe he's going to teach him how to keep his mouth shut. Carroll said he hasn't had much interaction with the new Seahawks staff other than impromptu meeting, blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares about the Seahawks. Going on down here. Carroll coached USC from 2001 to 2009 before running the Seahawks. Carroll is 72. Didn't close the door on coaching again, saying he hasn't lost his competitive edge, but noted he doesn't feel the desire to do so right now. Of course, man, because it's all political speak with Cheap Pete and all those idiots out there in California. And he's back home where he belongs in old California. So what do y'all think about all that? What's y'all's thoughts on that? Why do you think they're bringing back Cheap Pete suspiciously about the time where Lincoln Riley seems to be in a little bit of a tumultuous situation, seeing as he went 8-5 last year with a returning Heisman Trophy winner and a team that was supposed to contend for a playoff spot. Not only do they not do that, but they barely made it into a bowl game. I think Cheap Pete's been brought back not to advise Lincoln Riley, but to possibly take his place. If Lincoln Riley fails to win at least, I'd say, 9 or 10 games this year, at least 9, I think he'll be out. They'll bring Cheap Pete in for a couple of years just as a long transition type deal until they can basically snag the big name coach that they think can bring them back to the promised land of the great glory years of the Cheap Pete era. Although they may think, because USC people are rather stupid, they may think that Cheap Pete can bring back the glory himself, and that Cheap Pete, in fact, is a Highlander, and he never ages. And the only way you can kill Cheap Pete is you chop his damn head off, just like a Highlander. I don't know. You guys and gals tell me in the comments section what y'all think is going on here. Before I get out of here, though, seems like old Colin Cowherd, like y'all like to call him, and I like to call him Colin Cowherd, has basically done an interview with Urban Meyer the other day. A lot of people tell me I need to watch it and kept sending me links. And I didn't want to watch it because I hate giving him any kind of business because he's a jackass. You don't know what he's talking about half the time. And Urban Meyer is what I like to call Urban Liar. He's a big old piece of dung, too. So I had to sit there and listen to two pieces of dung talk back and forth. And basically, they just came out and said that they didn't think Oklahoma or Texas was really ready for the rigors of the SEC. Now, there's some parts that I might agree with, but Oklahoma and Texas, specifically Oklahoma, have been winning national championships for well over 80, 90 years. So while they may miss the days of being able to have an off week within conference in the Big 12, because the conference as a whole, we all know, is not as good as the SEC. Even the bottom rung teams outside of Vanderbilt, the mid-carders like Kentucky and South Carolina, as I've said before, have NFL-like players on their team across the lines. And as Urban Meyer actually aptly pointed out, the defensive line and offensive lines in the SEC is what makes the SEC stand out usually across the board. And I don't know. I'm an SEC guy. I'm an Alabama guy. I'm torn on that whole issue of whether Oklahoma and Texas is actually going to come in and dominate immediately. I just think there's something in between. I don't think they're going to come in and dominate immediately, and I don't think that they're going to come in and flop either. I think they're going to hold their own, and eventually they will, one of the two, will end up winning the SEC title down the road. But I don't know how anybody can get on there and take Urban Liar seriously or Colin Cowherd, considering he's the one last year, is Unfair Sports with Jay brought up in his podcast just the other day. That's a good channel too. Check it out. The video last year has been brought up where basically Colin was saying that Oklahoma you couldn't recruit to Oklahoma, just like Lincoln Riley had said, because the state of Oklahoma just wasn't big enough. That was probably one of the worst moments for Colin Cowherd of all time as far as losing his validity, because we all know that Oklahoma does not specifically recruit just to Oklahoma. His point was Alabama and USC will never go away because they got big states to recruit from. Well, USC's not even recruiting their state, jackass. They can barely keep talent in the city of Los Angeles. And Alabama never recruits just in the state of Alabama. So once again, you're just throwing shit against the wall and hoping that the average fan don't know any better. And some people don't, and they just believe your horse shit. But we all know that in the end, Oklahoma can recruit outside the state of Oklahoma. They're not just bound by state boundaries. State boundaries don't mean nothing anymore. They recruit in Texas. They recruit in California. Been taking y'all shit just like Oregon has, and Alabama and Georgia. And they recruit to the state of Florida, the East Coast, because Brent Venables built a lot of connections over there. So it's just coming around for Colin Cowherd, and it's coming around for Lincoln Riley this year, especially now with Pete Cheat waiting in the wings. And that's all I got to say about that. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Also, there's a little heart down here with a $money sign in the middle. If you want to throw a few dollars in the coffers and make a one-time donation, smash that heart. Throw me a few dollars in there and help me keep the lights on. Also, you can join the Outlaw Posse. Like I said before, it's $2.99 a month, just 75 cents a week. That's just half a bottle of water, man. Just click that join button, and then you'll be able to get your badge, and you'll be deputized. It's a great deal. And you'll get a random Four Horsemen shout-out, as well as possible be the comment of the day. KMCA to all the other teams. Class is now officially dismissed.